Okay, this is a demo video of using MediaMapper mobile with the Ricoh Theta 360 camera. This is the 4K camera. In this demonstration I'll be showing the Ricoh Theta camera, MediaMapper mobile running on a Google Pixel 2 phone device. You'll also notice that I have the Pixel 2 connected to an external battery source, an anchor battery in this, or capacity anchor battery in this case. The reason for using the battery is to make sure that the device, the Pixel 2 phone, keeps a good charge throughout the processing of the photos from the Theta camera. MediaMapper mobile uses a number of background services that are quite CPU intensive. So we need to keep the battery charged. Now, the first thing that we'll do when using a Pixel 2 phone, this Pixel 2 has Android 8.1. Android in version 8 has introduced some quite aggressive battery optimization configuration items. The battery optimization in the Android operating system will kill background services after a few minutes. So one of the things that we want to do after installing MediaMapper mobile is to make sure that MediaMapper mobile is not subject to these battery optimizations, so that the long-running background processes will continue to run okay without being killed by the operating system. So the first thing we'll do is, we have MediaMapper mobile version 3.37 installed. We'll go to the Android setup screen and go to the applications. Now at the bottom of this screen there's an advanced setting. Now in the advanced setting, special app access, and in the settings we want to look at is battery optimization. Now the battery optimization lists the applications that are not optimized, so these applications won't get killed. Now we want to add MediaMapper mobile to the list of not optimized apps, so we'll show a listing of all the applications. Go to MediaMapper mobile, which is way down in this list. Currently it's optimized for battery use. We want to change that. We want to say that don't optimize. Use the don't optimize setting. It may drain the battery more quickly. That's okay for us because we have an external power supply. So we'll select don't optimize and done. At the same time, the same conditions apply for MediaMapper mobile, the demo version, so I'll set that to don't optimize as well. Okay. Now, the first thing we need to do is to power on the camera and connect that to the phone. You should start with the camera battery also fully charged. So I'll just turn on the Theta camera device. Just shows a blue LED while it's booting. Once the boot is completed, we should see LEDs showing the camera and also the Wi-Fi. If the Wi-Fi light is, there's the Wi-Fi light blinking. If the Wi-Fi light is not blinking, turn the Wi-Fi on the side of the camera as well. Okay, now connecting the camera to the phone, we go to the Android settings, to the network settings, and we want to wait for the connection to show up for the Theta camera. There it is there. I've previously entered the password for the camera, so in this case it's just a matter of connecting it. Now it is connected now. One of the issues with the Android 8.1 I found with the Pixel 2 is that you need to actually connect it twice. To the Wi-Fi twice, so we've connected it once. I'll disconnect it and connect it to my local Wi-Fi. So now I'm connected to my local Wi-Fi, You can see that it's disconnected from the camera, and I'll go back and connect it to the camera a second time. Okay, now we're connected to the camera again. This just seems to be some quirk with the Pixel 2 device. You don't seem to need to connect it twice to other devices. There's some sort of bug in the Android operating system, probably to do with the fact that Android doesn't really disconnect Wi-Fi correctly. It always leaves it running to scan for other Wi-Fi devices, even when you've supposedly turned it off. Okay, now we'll start MediaMapper Mobile, and we'll just have a look at a couple of configuration items for the camera. So we go to Setup, scroll along to the external camera, and we'll just look at the settings that we have for the Theta. Ricoh Theta 360 camera settings. Currently I've got it set to create the Nadar compass map. That's the Nadar compass map that is put in the bottom of copies of each of the 360 photos from the camera. We're going to select, or we have selected, favour quality over speed, so the Nadar compass map will be a relatively high quality. That means that the processing will take a bit longer, up to about 60 seconds per image. And we also have defer intervalometry processing checked as well. That means that the photos won't be automatically downloaded after we've done an intervalometry session. We have to download them manually, and that's what we're going to be demonstrating here. Okay, now let's go back to the home screen. We'll go to the external camera control, and we'll attempt to connect to the Ricoh Theta 360 via Wi-Fi. Okay, we've connected. Okay, we can see that there's the preview screen. That's in portrait mode. We can flip it around to landscape mode. Okay, we'll go back to portrait mode. Excuse me. And what we want to do is to download the images. Okay, sometimes you have to flip it around to keep the previous screen being responsive. Okay, now we want to download the images. I've previously recorded an intervalometry sequence, so we're going to download the images from the camera into MediaMapper Mobile. So I'll press the download images button. Now there's 718 images on the camera at the moment. We're only going to download the images that haven't been downloaded previously, so it won't download all 718, it'll just download the last intervalometry sequence, which is about 58 photos, I believe. You'll hear a beep each time that an image is downloaded. It only takes a few seconds to download each image. So this is the first step in the processing sequence, downloading the images. There is second and third steps in this procedure as well. The second step will start automatically once the downloads have been completed. Okay, the download is finished. Now at this stage we can exit from this screen, and we can actually turn the camera off. We've finished using the camera now. So turn the camera off. Now the second stage of the image processing has started. That's indicated by the presence of a film icon. The processing takes a few seconds per image. So we had about 60 images that were downloaded, so this processing will take a little while to complete. In the meantime, we can, so the image processing occurs in the background. The image processing involves, making copies and various thumbnails, geotagging the photos from the camera using the GPS information that was collected by MediaMapper Mobile when the photos were originally captured. Now, while we're waiting for that, we can go back and connect to the local area network again. So we've connected to my local area network. Exit out of that and go back to MediaMapper Mobile. Now at this stage the photo processing is still running as indicated by the film icon in the notification area. So it's roughly about halfway completed for this intervalometry sequence. We'll just wait while that processing completes. Now there is 3 stages to this, as we said. The first stage was download the images. Second stage is process the media, which we're doing now. And then the third stage will involve another round of processing the media, and the third stage is where the nadar compass rose is added to the nadar position in each 360 image. Now that's a long running process, and that process does require an internet connection. That process doesn't, it is an automatic process, but it's not kicked off automatically. The way to kick it off is to return to the MediaMapper Mobile home screen, which we'll demonstrate shortly. Now the important point here is that a fair amount of patience is required for these processes to be completed. Particularly if you've recorded hundreds of photos in an intervalometry sequence. Okay, now it might take a few times. The processing media screen may be displayed for a while. I think at this stage we have returned to the home screen, so it has kicked off the third stage of this. So this is actually the third step. Now this step will take quite a while. The third processing step is where as mentioned, where the nadar compass rose images are created, and that does require internet connection. The important point is that you need to wait for the device to complete the image processing. So for example, in this sequence I've took about 60 photos, 58 photos in the intervalometry sequence, and as mentioned, because it's doing the high quality nadar compass image, adding the images to adding the nadar compass rays to the 360 images, it will take approximately up to 60 seconds per image. So we're looking at roughly an hour for this particular step in the processing, according to the quality that we've selected. If we had have selected the setting speed over quality, it only takes about 15 seconds to create the nadar compass rays for each image. But in this case we've gone for the quality, so we will be waiting quite a while for that process to complete. Normally if you did take hundreds of photos, you would set this up to run overnight, making sure that you've got the device connected to a external battery supply. Now you can exit out of MediaMapper Mobile, and as you see, the processes continue to run in the background. They're still going now. You can even, to save further battery power, you can even turn the device off and the processes will continue. So turn the screen off and the processes will continue to run in the background okay. I'll turn it back on again. Just enter my PIN. So it's just a case of waiting for the film icon at the top of the screen to finally disappear. So I'll put the device down and we'll just continue to wait. I'll leave the video running, but I will cut out the processing. You'll be able to see from the time displayed on the clock how long this processing step has taken. But I estimate, just under an hour. It'll take before it's completed for this particular sequence. So we'll just leave it turned on like so, even though, as I showed, you can turn the screen off, and turning the screen off will help maintain the battery power in the device. Now in the meantime we could take a look and see, have a look at the photos that were downloaded from the camera. So if we go to view photos, these are the photos from the 360 photos. And this is the intervalometry sequence that we're interested in, that we've just downloaded. So you'll notice that the intervalometry sequence has red text, and it says that it's a GPS sequence, which meant that the photos were triggered according to distance moved. the distance moved was about 5 or 6 meters in this case. So if you press on that, you'll drill down into the intervalometry sequence. You can see there's, and scroll around and look at the inside one of the photos, and there's, so we're showing 58 or 58 photos. If we look down at the bottom, we can see that the compass rose has not been added to this particular image as yet. We're still waiting for that process to complete. But if we scroll over to some of the earlier photos, so if we press the scroll button, we'll go back to, so we're at the start of the sequence. You can see in the bottom there that one of the, this particular compass rose map has already been added to this image. We can scroll through a few other ones, so you can start to see that the compass rose has been added to the first few images, and we'll eventually get up to the point where the compass rose image is still being added. So there we go. So we can see that so far it's done 12 out of the 58, and as we progress, those compass rose images will be added to the rest of the photos. So we'll just exit back out of that, and we'll continue to wait for the film processing icon to do its work. So we'll just put the phone down, and we'll come back in sort of 45 minutes or so and see where we're up to. One thing we'll have to do before, once the process is complete, we'll need to actually reboot the phone. There is also an additional bug in whatever Android version 8, it seems, that the DNS names for websites don't seem to work after you've connected to the Theta camera. So for example, when trying to access the Street View URLs, there's a DNS error saying, the operating system's telling MediaMapper Mobile that it can't find the Google Street View servers, so we will reboot the phone before we attempt to upload the intervalometry sequence to Street View. Okay, back to waiting. We'll come back to this in about half an hour or so. MediaMapper Mobile has completed the third step of the processing the intervalometry images from the Ricoh Theta camera. The film icon has now disappeared from the screen. It's a good idea at this stage to exit out of MediaMapper Mobile and shut it down. Each time we go back to the home screen after a 5-minute delay, the automatic background process to add compass, the compass radar compass map to the images is invoked. It's a good idea so we can see it started and stopped again just then. It's a good idea to exit out of MediaMapper Mobile at this point. As we mentioned before, we do have to reboot the phone to get around the DNS error that happens after we've connected to the camera. That seems to be peculiar to the Street View URLs. So we'll just power off the phone and reboot it at this stage. It's shutting down. So this is in preparation for uploading the intervalometry images to Street View. Okay, powering the phone back on again. Just rebooting now. Entering the pin. And the phone's rebooted, okay. Now we'll go back, we'll start MediaMapper Mobile again. After a few seconds, the background process to look for any nadar, any 360 photos that need nadar compass map added is run again. It's run periodically to check whether any of those maps need to be created. It's a good idea to run it a second time. Okay, so it looks like they've all been processed. We can go and check that now by going and viewing the photos. So again, we'll view the photos. We'll scroll to the point in the list where the GPS sequence is that we're interested in. We'll press on that. So there's the GPS sequence, and as we can see, the compass map is appearing in the bottom of, now appears in the bottom of each intervalometry photo. You can see that the map screen is being updated correctly in the bottom of the screen. Okay, so all of the images have been processed successfully. We'll go back and now we'll do the Street View upload part of this. So to upload photos to Street View, we're in the Photos, Video and Audio screen. Scroll down and we'll press Street View Photos. We'll sign into Street View. And now the Street View photos that we've previously uploaded from MediaMapper Mobile to Street View are shown. As you can see, in this case, I've previously uploaded 648 images to Street View. Now to add new photos to Street View, you press the red and white plus sign at the top of the screen. That'll load the 360 images that are currently present within MediaMapper Mobile. These are all GPS photos that are geotagged. I'll do a demonstration of uploading a single photo. So there's the GPS sequence that we will upload shortly. Just select a single photo to upload to Street View. Just to demonstrate what a single upload is like. Let's just choose a photo. These are just single photos, they're not intervalometry photos, so let's choose this one here. So to upload to Street View, you long press on the photo that you wish to upload, 360 photo, and then you select Upload to Street View. The upload, so it's going to upload one image. The upload is done by a background process again. So the upload's completed. Each upload only takes a few seconds to do. Now, if we return back to the Street View photo screen, you'll see that we still have 648 photos that have been added to Street View. It takes Street View 15 to 30 seconds to register that a new photo has been uploaded. So we'll just wait a little bit, and then we'll go back to the Photos, Video and Audio screen and wait a few seconds here. Then we'll press the Street View photos again, and if we're lucky, the photo that we've just uploaded should now be present within the Street View photos. So we're hoping to see 649 total photos uploaded. And yes, so there's 649, so that our new photo is present in been uploaded to Street View, the Street View servers. If we press on the image, we can show a in the Street View image viewer the photo that we have uploaded to Street View, and there's the compass map in the bottom of the screen, rotating around, so it's at a local beach. Okay, now let's do the upload of the intervalometry images that I captured. So again, we'll press the red and white plus button at the top of the screen. So the intervalometry sequence, as mentioned before, it has single images have black text shown at the top of each image. The intervalometry sequence, a GPS intervalometry sequence has red text. Time-based intervalometry image sequence has blue text. But anyway, this is the one that we want to upload. So if we press that, we'll show the photos from the intervalometry sequence. There's 58 photos altogether. To upload all of them, you press on any image and select the select all, deselect all options, so that will highlight all of the images. So we've now highlighted 58 images. It's a good idea to scroll through your list and possibly deselect some images that you don't want to upload as part of the intervalometry sequence. Sometimes it's a good idea to, for example, remove photos that are close to people. So here's an example where we'll deselect just this individual photo. It's a good idea for privacy reasons not to necessarily upload photos of people. It is possible to blur photos out within Street View, within the Street View application, but it's often better to exclude them from the upload in the first place, rather than having to blur faces or that sort of thing. So once you're happy with your selection, you can go ahead with the upload. Deselect this one as well with the person in it. Now, intervalometry sequences that are uploaded will be linked together by Street View, so you'll see the usual arrow markers enabling you to step between the photos. The markers that are added, they're added by the Street View servers. That's actually done in a batch job, so it can take many hours. I've found 6 to even 24 hours before the links between the intervalometry photos are processed by Google. So it's usually you have to wait till the next day before all the links appear. That's something that's out of the control of MediaMapper Mobile. It's just a case of waiting till Google's done its work on its side. So we've reviewed photos with people in them. Remove this one as well. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with what we've got to upload. So now it's just a case of selecting any of the images again, long pressing to select to bring up the photo options menu, and then just do upload to Street View. So we're uploading 54 images to Street View as shown at the bottom of the screen. The upload is done via background process again, the Street View upload process. And you'll see as the uploads start to progress, the screen should be updated. Okay, the uploads have kicked off. Generally the uploads only take a few seconds per image, really depends on the speed of your internet connection. Seem to be taking about 5 to 7 seconds per image. So we'll just wait for the upload to complete. It'll take a little while. And once again, this upload process is done in the background. We can abort the upload if we choose to, but so we can do abort Street View uploads, yes or no. We'll say no because we want it to complete. As mentioned, this is done as a background process, so if there's many hundreds of images that you're uploading, you can switch away to another screen or even turn the screen off, and the uploads will continue to happen. There may be some other further optimizations that you can make within the Android system settings to optimize to allow data to be used in the background. Have a look in your Android settings. If you wish to look at some of those settings, we might just have a quick review while we're here. So if we go to apps, we can MediaMapper Mobile. So we've got background data is enabled. We'll also put unrestricted data access when the data saver is on. So we don't want the MediaMapper Mobile to be restricted by any of these background data restrictions. We want MediaMapper Mobile to continue to access the network from background services. So be sure to set those for long-running tasks when configuring MediaMapper Mobile. Okay, let's have a look at our current progress of the uploads. Okay, so we've currently done 20 out of the 54. MediaMapper Mobile is capable of uploading hundreds of intervalometry photos in a single session. The most I've uploaded in one session is over 500 images. MediaMapper Mobile will also retry any uploads if they are unsuccessful. It'll have about 3 attempts at uploading images that may have failed initially, so that the uploads are completed successfully. Street View does use a authentication token, which does time out occasionally, after about an hour of use. For the uploads, MediaMapper Mobile actually detects when the authorization token has expired and will request a new authorization token from Google so that the from Street View so that the uploads can continue okay. So generally uploads are quite successful. And as we mentioned, once the uploads are finished, we will have to go back to the, wait about 30 seconds or so again for the images to appear within the Street View photo view. And as also mentioned, the links for the intervalometry photos, that's done as a batch process by Google. They seem to run the batch process about every few hours, so it can take quite a while before all of the links are present, the arrow links that enable you to traverse between the linked intervalometry photos. Forwards and backwards links are provided by MediaMapper Mobile so that you can traverse from one image to the next within the sequence. And getting closer to completion. And just finalising the uploads. After the images are uploaded, then all of the links for the intervalometry photos are being sent to Google as well. That's what the delay is for this current part of the process. Generally only takes 10 or 15 seconds for the links to be processed. Okay, now the upload is completed. Okay, so we had successfully uploaded 54 photos and 0 failed, so we can exit out. Now we need to go back. These are the Street View photos. We're still showing 649. We will have to wait for 15 to 30 seconds, as mentioned before the intervalometry photo sequence will turn up in the Street View photos once Google Street View servers have done their own initial processing. So let's try that now and see if we've got the updated photos that are present there yet. Okay, so yes, they have been uploaded okay. There's now 705, so the 54 photos were added okay. The intervalometry sequence was added okay. So there's all our new images. We can try accessing one of them, but as mentioned, the links won't be present until Google completes its batch processing of the links between each photo. So as you can see in the bottom there, there's the compass rose map. It's a picture of me when I was capturing the photos. Okay, going back. The number on at the end of each listing is the number of times that it's been viewed. Some of the previous images that I've uploaded, there's one that's been viewed 603 times. Going down a bit further, past the intervalometry sequence, they're all showing that they've only been viewed once, which is correct. And there's another photo that's been viewed 2,300 times, which is pretty good, seeing it was only uploaded on a few days ago. Okay, so that's the end of pretty much the end of the demonstration. I'll just go back to Street View photos again, just show you one final thing. If I scroll down a fair way through the photos that I've uploaded before, this is another intervalometry sequence that I uploaded back in mid-December. Now if I press on one of those photos and show it in the Street View image viewer, you can see the arrow links that connect to each photo. So if you press on the links, you'll advance backwards and forwards through the intervalometry photo sequence. Now those are the links that are sent by MediaMapper mobile for intervalometry photos, and they're processed by Google. So you can press forwards and backwards and progress through the sequence of images. Okay, that's the end of the demonstration. Thank you very much. Exiting from MediaMapper mobile. Okay, bye.